Here's our timeline this afternoon. The Giants make it official. They move safety Landon Collins to IR. As Josina Anderson reported yesterday, he had season-ending surgery after tearing his labrum Sunday against the Chicago Bears. Sources tell our Adam Schefter that former Bills wide receiver Kelvin Benjamin, who did clear waivers yesterday, is visiting with the Kansas City Chiefs today. Hello there. We're happy to have you with us on this Thursday. Teddy Bruschi, Darren Woodson, Adam Schefter. I'm Wendy Nix. We will start this afternoon with some unfortunate quarterback news. Redskins QB Alex Smith suffered 2 broken bones in his lower right leg 2.5 weeks ago. Adam Schefter reported the injury was a compound spiral fracture and that he would face a lengthy rehab. Redskins coach Jay Gruden, commenting the day after the injury, said he did not suffer any ligament damage and put a recovery time frame at 6 to 8 months. Diana Rossini joins us now. She's been following this story. What more can you tell us, Diana, about Smith's injury?
Good afternoon, Wendy. You know, this is a very sensitive story to report, and it's something we have been keeping an eye on for about a week now. Here's what I know. Alex Smith, he's still in the hospital. He's been there since November 18th, and he is not going to be leaving anytime soon. He's had multiple surgeries on his leg, and sources have shared with me that there have been more than 5 surgeries, and the issues now are actually from an infection from those surgeries. There is serious concerns that this infection could be so difficult to recover from that it could be career-ending for Alex. Sources also shared with me that the family's been very positive, they're very optimistic, but they are very aware of the severity of this. Sources I spoke to within the Redskins organization, they've been very, very quiet about the situation. And they tell me they're just hoping for a full recovery for Alex. And, you know, guys, while there is concern that this is career-ending, there is actual concern for the health of his leg, doing just basic everyday things like walking. So while I know it's our job to focus on his football career, this could be an uphill battle for the full recovery of for Alex Smith's leg.
Diana, point well taken. Thank you. Amid reports of the severity of Smith's injury, the Redskins did release a statement. On behalf of Alex Smith, we appreciate all of the concerns and prayers over the injury he incurred November 18th against the Texans. Although this is a serious injury, Alex and his family remain strong. We would ask that everyone please honor the Smith family's request for privacy at this time. Adam, clearly not the development in any way, shape, or form anyone hoped for.
Well, let's look at this and first and foremost say we hope that Alex Smith is okay.
Without
because that is the first thing, that is the most important thing here of all. But literally last week this came up, the details of this. And the people around the Redskins and his family were very, very protective of this particular injury and all that came along with it. When the Washington Redskins released a statement today in reaction to some information that had surfaced on a blog in Washington, they basically said, when they say, we hope that you respect the privacy of the family and that our thoughts are with Alex, you knew right then and there how serious this actual injury was. No matter how many surgeries Alex has had already, no matter how long he is and will be in the hospital, no matter how much his career is threatened. Again, as Diana succinctly said, you hope that Alex Smith is okay first and foremost, but you know the severity and gravity of this particular situation by the statement that the Redskins released in trying to basically calm it down, but in alerting the world that this is a major ordeal that Alex Smith is now fighting.
Well, again, underscoring the point that first and foremost, we wish the best for Alex Smith and his family. It's hard to believe, but on Thursdays, we turn the page to a new week. And this time around, that means week 14, which will get underway tonight. Jacksonville ended its 7-game losing streak last week by shutting out Andrew Luck and the Colts. The Titans sit 1 game behind the Ravens. They're still in the mix for the AFC's second wild card spot, but have just a 13% chance to make the playoffs. That is per our football power index. We know Marcus Mariota is extremely important to this Titans team. Is he turning the corner in time to save the season, Darren?
I think so, and I think it's a great combination between he and offensive coordinator Matt LaFleur. They've been working together extremely well, and we're starting to see not just the short passing game. We've seen Mariota in years past, it's been the short passing game and beating teams with his legs. Now we're starting to see more explosive plays down the field to wide receivers Corey Davis, to Taywan Taylor, guys that are taking shots, and that's where you're seeing the growth patterns. Not just the short games, the crossing routes. It's the big plays, the exciting plays, and the plays that you can really get your outside receivers involved with. That's what we're seeing in Marcus Mariota. That's the growth. That's the maturation, that process that needs to take place. And Matt LaFleur, again, is doing a great job in handling that.
Well, he'll have to face this Jaguars defense. They're good, but they are not anywhere near the dominant force they were a season ago. Teddy, what have you seen in the recent weeks with that defense?
Well, particularly last week, guys, is less busts in coverage. Let's start with that, because the plays of where opponents' receivers would catch the ball and have the time to turn and then turn upfield and get extra yards before they even started converging. Those type of busts in communication, the busts in coverage, those weren't happening. And when they were receiving those footballs, tackling, they were right on those guys in terms of no yards after catch. You see them getting after that. That's a fourth down stop right there. Ngakwe coming off the edge, he was showing up. Calais Campbell was showing up. So almost, I want to say, the Jacksonville defense of old, but I want to say this about them being a championship defense, like they were and what they are now. It's exhausting to have to play this type of defense to win a 6-0 game, right? Yeah. Week in, week out, knowing your offense has a backup quarterback. Fournette's going to come back, yes, of course, but knowing that you can't get production offensively, and we got to shut guys out. We got to take the ball away. Maybe we got to score to win. It's a frustrating mentality that can sometimes exhaust.
And that's grueling during the week. Because that mindset starts on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. No one going into the game like, we have to perform. We have to perform at the highest level just to even have a chance, because our offense is not going to give us anything. And it can really divide a locker room at the same time.
Well, we've talked about this time and time again. Stop me if you've heard it before, but I'll ask again, what is the future, Adam, of Blake Bortles in Jacksonville?
I think everybody can see what his future is.
Yeah.
Basically, they gave him a contract during the offseason, and the issue that they're dealing with is what happens to him if they decide to move on from him. That would be a $16.5 million salary cap hit, the biggest hit that any team has ever taken for a single player in NFL history, more than the Cleveland Browns were willing to take for Brock Osweiler for getting the second-round pick back from the Houston Texans, a pick, by the way, that they turned into Nick Chubb. So the pick worked out well, but is it worth $15.5 million worth of cap space? That's a whole other question. In this particular instance, the Jaguars gave more money to Blake Bortles during the offseason. He's been benched this season for Cody Kessler, who will make the start tonight against the Tennessee Titans. And maybe Jacksonville can find somebody with cap room to take on Blake's contract and trade a pick the way that the Houston Texans did. But I think it's fair to say that Jacksonville knows that it's got to find a quarterback, whoever that quarterback is, to try to help revive this.
A quarterback that can take care of the football, that won't turn it over. Also, this identity of the Jacksonville Jaguars was so based on Leonard Fournette.
Yeah.
And when Leonard Fournette pulled that hamstring early on, and it took him weeks to come back, and then he goes ahead and slugs somebody in Orchard Park, and he's suspended a game, he is very valuable to that team, almost more so than the quarterback, because of that running game that gives the quarterback those third and manageables, that you can get those 3, 4, 5 yards on first down from Fournette. If you don't have that and your quarterback's not playing well, then you need to shut guys out.
Exactly.
And here we go again, and round and round we go.
But you're right. The future is they have to go find someone out there that's serviceable at the quarterback. That's the only way you win this.
So who's that? So are they going to go get Teddy Bridgewater?
That'd be a good pick. That'd be a good one.
That would be an inspiring choice in the locker room. He's a free agent after this year.
Joe Flacco, maybe at some. Hey,
that would be an interesting name.
Interesting.
With everything going on in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson, there's
Darren
two names.
stirring the pot
Let's
today.
stir it up right now.
Just toss
Anybody
it
else?
I'm sure there are, Adam. I'm sure there's some.
Let's stop there. Listen, they do give Fournette back tonight after the one-game suspension, but Teddy, you talked about turnovers. Here's this for perspective. His 74 interceptions for Blake Bortles, 93 total turnovers. They lead the league over the course of, during the span of, 2014 to I have no idea. He turns 4 years.
He turns it over.
I cannot get it out, but
Wendy,
he turns
it's
the
a
ball
lot of
over.
interceptions in recent years.
Listen, there's a number of ways you can put it, but we'll just leave it at that. All right.
Overload.
Look in the mirror. That's your competition. But I'll be damned if I don't work the hardest. My feet fear of failure is my motivation to succeed.
All right, it's hard to believe we are now heading into Week 14. It does hit the home stretch of the season where teams are making playoff pushes, and Sunday's slate will feature a handful of pivotal matchups. Let's take a look at some of these games because just about every one matters. We've got a matchup between the Ravens and the Chiefs. Teddy, what you're watching for?
Everyone can watch that Kansas City offense and how explosive it is, but I'll be watching the Lamar show because I believe this is the proper formula to also beat the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to run the football. Our quarterback can run the football 11 on 11. We're going to grind this clock down, hope our defense gets a couple turnovers, an couple extra possessions, but I want to see Lamar Jackson play that quarterback position, made a couple throws on third down. You might pull off the upset, young man.
He might. He's been electric. Andrew Luck and the Colts facing the Texans. They've won 9 in a row, Darren.
Well, I'm going with the other Lamar Miller in this case here. As far as the running back position, the vision that he has, the explosiveness, the ability to take it the distance when he has to at the same time. But we're talking about a guy who's 27 years old, who's seen it all. Every defensive coordinator has thrown things at him. He continues to adjust and make big play after big play. The reason why this team is on this winning streak is because Lamar Miller is having a great season.
All right, speaking of winning streaks, they've won 3 in a row, but things changed a little bit for Denver yesterday. Of course, Shefty, what you're keeping your eye on in this one?
We have the receivers in this one. It's going to be up to Cortland Sutton, Deshaun Hamilton, the rookie wide receivers to help save the Broncos' unlikely postseason push. Phillip Lindsay's been electric, but they're going to need more plays to replace Emmanuel Sanders, who tore his Achilles during practice. If Lindsay can keep scoring touchdowns like that, then Denver can keep alive its postseason push.
The Patriots take their talents to South Beach. They'll face the Dolphins, a place they often struggle in December. Teddy, what you watching?
That's right, Wendy. Brady has struggled down there in South Beach. So has the entire Patriot team. And how do you fix those struggles? Run the football with Sony Michel, because they cannot it's not only South Beach, Wendy, it's the road. This team has to prove they can win on the road. They've lost in Detroit, in Jacksonville, okay, in Tennessee. They got to prove they can win on the road consistently to be a championship football team.
On the road, 6-6. The Eagles still in the mix. Philly facing the Cowboys. They need to contain Zeke Elliott in that running game. Darren.
That's the only way they win football games. Teddy just said it. Hey, listen, you got to win. You want to win football games in this league, especially on the road or at home. The Cowboys' identity is give the ball to Zeke, let him eat, and make sure your identity is the offensive line controlling the line of scrimmage, which they have done. The Cowboys need this guy, Zeke, to win football games.
And closing things out on Sunday night, it's the Rams and the Bears. Shefty, the game featuring the NFL's 2 highest-paid defensive players, Aaron Donald and Khalil Mack.
Yeah, probably the 2 best defensive players in the year, Wendy, who were paid one day apart. The Rams paid Aaron Donald on a Friday. The Bears traded for Khalil Mack on a Saturday. Both men got paid. Both men cashed in, and both men have made a tremendous difference to their respective teams now lining up on Sunday night.
What a game. What a game for the Sunday night finale. There's plenty to watch. I know who will be watching.
I'm just laughing. Listen, he's texting and talking at the same time.
Listen,
I've never seen that before.
So I'm impressed.
I've never seen that before.
I can't even speak and do nothing else. And he can talk. Only Adam Schefter. And I think he could do, too. I swear I do, and continue to talk. Steve Young joins us now. Steve, Aaron Donald and Khalil Mack, the stuff of nightmares, of course, for quarterbacks. We're going to talk about the key for each of these quarterbacks in this game. And let's start with Jared Goff facing Khalil Mack.
You know, by the way, Shefty, every parent in the world saying, what are you teaching my kids? I mean, at the dinner table, put the phone down.
Every
man.
parent of my wife, Steve. Every parent of my wife, too, Steve.
As a parent of children, stop it.
At least he's not
You got
driving.
it, Dad.
He's not driving. We got that going for us.
Look, you talk about Goff and Khalil Mack matching up against each other, like, whoa, it's really Vic Fangio. If you think about Vic Fangio when the 49ers were great in the 2012, 2013, Justin Smith, Aldon Smith, Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman, he's got the same kind of thing going with the Bears right now. Floyd, Fuller, Akeem Hicks, Roquan Smith, Khalil Mack. Like, Vic Fangio is the the defensive genius that now has all these pieces to the puzzle that's going to make it tough. So Jared Goff's got to be super careful. And I think if you think about Sean McVay, he's going to try to steal a couple possessions, maybe fake punt. You know, he's going to try to find ways to have a couple more possessions because he's going to need them. Because this is a great matchup. If defense has a chance, Teddy, if defense has a chance in the future of the NFL, this is the game to check out because, you know, we're going to really find out.
All right, Steve, it looks like, at least we expect, that Mitchell Trubisky will be back and start for the Bears on Sunday night. So if that's the case, what's the biggest challenge for him, or what does he have to do against Aaron Donald?
Well, Aaron Donald is like Lawrence Taylor. I mean, honestly, you cannot stop him. And so you have to put two, and you're going to have to chip, and you have to do all the stuff, and you have to slide to him, and all the things we had to try to do for Lawrence Taylor back in the day. And he's that good. And that if Sue and other defenders pick up the pace, this can be one of the best defenses in the league. If Aqib Talib is healthy, this is a team that I think is one of the number one in offense and could be number one in defense. And that's why I say the only reason they don't go to the Super Bowl is their own fault. The truth in my mind is if those supported casts around Aaron Donald play with the ferociousness that he does, and they can do that. I've seen him week to week. There's times when they take it off, times when they play hard. This is one where they got to come because if they do, that defense could be one of the best in the league as well.
All right, I want to ask you about one more quarterback because he's been so dynamic and he'll face a tough defense this weekend, and that is Patrick Mahomes. What do you expect from Mahomes against that Ravens defense?
Well, the Ravens defense is, a lot of defenses say, look, we're going to give up all the yards between the 30s and between the 20s, but when we get the red zone, we're going to be killer. That's not the Ravens. The Ravens come on the field, we're taking you down. 3 and out, you're gone. And so to me, Patrick Mahomes is going to be about sustained drives. The Ravens defense is not what you've seen other decent defenses or even good defenses you see in the league. They come on the field, they're going to try to put you out right away. Now, down in the red zone, they're not as good. So Patrick Mahomes has a super focus on the commodity work in between the 30s because if he can get down there, they can put some points on the board. But it's continuing those drives, the third and 8s, 3rd and 7s, and converting will be the key for the Chiefs.
All right, Steve, stay with us because upcoming our quarterback spotlights. We've touched on Lamar Jackson just a minute ago. He has a tough game against the Chiefs. Steve still all in on Tom Brady, but his quarterback with the best matchup this weekend may surprise you. And later, it's been less than a month since the Eagles and Cowboys faced off. This week's matchup crucial in the race for the NFC East. Stick around. We'll break it down.
NFL Live.